Thank you, sir. It's a great pleasure that we have Parliament functioning again. And with your permission, sir, before I speak on the bill, I would like to say that I was really enthused to hear the Honorable Finance Minister implore us really to take the functioning of this House seriously and to debate more vigorously on issues concerning our nation. Now, we have seen that this session, sir, lost 9 valuable days because of the rather intransigent attitude adopted by the government. And we have seen, sir, ministers of the government go on to television channels to say that the decision which now stands suspended is an executive decision. I think, sir, the time has come when Parliament should take a view as to what would construe to be an executive decision. For example, if a government in power, and I'm not talking about this government, if a government in power today decides to sell one of our states to a foreign country, it can well say that that is an executive decision and no legislative approval is needed. Therefore, our constitution needs to be properly studied and in little more detail, and this Parliament should be empowered to discuss, and only then should governments be allowed to take decisions which will have a long-term import on the country. Thank you very much, sir. I now turn back to this bill. As the Honourable Minister just said, the purpose of this bill we cannot have anything against, but I begin to wonder why the Ministry of Power at all controls the Damodar Valley Corporation. This project, envisaged in 1948 on the lines of the Tennessee Valley Corporation in the United States, was a multi-purpose river valley project, and power generation was only one of the major tasks that it was charged with. The others were much more important tasks. So over a period of time, the Damodar Valley Corporation has become just another electricity producing enterprise. I don't think this is what was envisaged then. And therefore, just to reiterate, as the Minister said, promotion and operation of schemes for flood control, irrigation, water supply, drainage, generation and transmission, distribution of thermal power, afforestation and soil conservation to stop the soil erosion, and public health and agriculture in that area. These were the important things that the DVC was charged with originally. What we now find that since 1948, even the original plan of the Damodar Valley Corporation has not been fully implemented. The initial plan was to have 7 dams. Only 4 have been made. Even those 4 dams do not have the capacity to hold the excess water, with the result that large parts of Paschim Banga or West Bengal gets flooded every year. This is an extremely, extremely serious problem, and I do not think that the Power Ministry is really in a position to do much about desilting of those dams or those rivers there. Therefore, I do not know if the government would consider either involving more ministries in running of the DVC or handing over the DVC itself to another more appropriate ministry, because power generation initially was and remains a secondary thing for the DVC. On the other hand, I do not see logic in there being only part-time members from the state of Jharkhand and Paschim Bengal, because the question is that large parts of this area to be developed, the Damodar Valley Corporation, either fall in the territory of West Bengal or in the territory of Jharkhand, and therefore the district administration really calls the shot. The DVC, in trying to say that it will promote public health, agriculture, overall industrial and economic development, it is severely curtailed from having the administrative arm to be able to do this. And therefore, it would be better if the local administration was involved, and if schemes like the Narega were actually become a part of the DVC, if it really has to do what it was supposed to do in the first place. No study, sir, on DVC has been done since 1948. The landscape has changed. The watershed has changed its character, and therefore a detailed project study on this must be carried out, and as soon as possible. Despite all this, the Damodar Valley Corporation has really the Damodar Valley Corporation is now home to a large number of industries. It is on the pattern of the Ruhr Valley in Germany, in Europe. And the environmental safeguards that needs to be in place is just missing from there. Therefore, you have haphazard development. Therefore, the question of reforestation or afforestation is on the backbench. I mean, nobody is even bothering about it. All that we are concentrating on is more and more power generation, and rather than hydro, we are going in for more and more thermal power generation. Power generation by itself is a very important thing, but as far as DVC is concerned, I would request the government to re-look at the original plan for the Damodar Valley Corporation and go back to what it was supposed to be doing. I don't know why the dams are not being made. I don't know why the rivers are not being desilted. I don't know why the environmental control measures are not being put in place. I don't know why the DVC itself is not increasing its expenditure on the corporate social responsibility, is spending a measly 2% of its earning, why it cannot become 5%, why the district administration cannot be roped in, why schemes like the Narega, etc., cannot become part of the charter of the DVC. These are very important suggestions that we are making, and I would like the Honourable Minister to respond to these suggestions and, if possible, to implement them. Because once implemented, we will have this area. For large parts of the year, you have flood waters. For the other time of the year, you do not have irrigation water. So really speaking, DVC has failed in doing what it was supposed to do, and I would therefore request the Minister to kindly pay a larger, greater attention to this. And with this, I support the amendment. The amendment is for strengthening the management structure of the DVC, and one cannot have anything against it. Thank you very much, sir.